Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome back to another video for Marvel Strike Force. Now, we have another X-Men themed video tonight. In the last few videos, as part of the Envoy program, I've been able to show off the kit for, it was Psylocke, Jean Grey and Colossus. They all look exceptionally strong. Cyclops, we were told, is coming, but we weren't actually given anything on his abilities. Now, for a very short period of time yesterday when the patch went live, we were actually able to see Cyclops, Jean Grey and Colossus in the game, and then they were very quickly removed from it because they shouldn't have been there yet as far as I'm aware. Now, in that time, it looks like MSF.GG has managed to get hold of this information. So we've got all the abilities, we've got the cooldowns, we've got information on his stats as well. Now, I will mention that I have been told that this very much could be subject to change. So the mechanics of the skills could change, the numbers on them could change as well. So just do bear that in mind. But despite all that, it's going to give us a rough idea of how you actually play. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring up his kit and I'll talk you through it and give my first impressions on it. Once we've done that, we're going to look at all the X-Men synergies overall and just see how powerful they actually are. But let's start off by having a look at Cyclops. Before we do go in and look at his abilities then, I actually have a screenshot of his model here. One of my alliance mates, Flood, who is a huge Cyclops fan, managed to grab this when he was in game for that short period of time. So according to this, again subject to change, he looks like he would be a 2-star unlock, but again, I'm just going to stress the fact that could change. Model wise, he's got the traditional X-Men suit, the blue and yellow, and he does look really nice. His hair does look a little bit odd, but overall I really do like the style of him. So let's jump in now and actually have a look at his abilities. So from this then, we're able to actually see his tags and his description as well. So the description is Cyclops grants his teammates extra attacks and assails his enemies with optic blast. So that sounds like Cyclops really rounded up there. Now in regards to his stats, which once again I'm going to say could be subject to change, I was able to break these down and figure out the ratings for them. So his health, as it's sitting at the moment, that would come in at a B. His damage is the highest damage rating in the game, so that would be an A+ at 7 red star. I think it's something like 28,000 damage. It's absolutely insane. You've then got his armour, that comes in at an E rating. That sounds right for him. His focus is exceptionally high. He was in something like the top 3, I believe, so it would be very close to an A+. Resistance would be an E, so that could be one way to shut him down by debuffing him, applying a fence down to him, for example, to counter his very high base damage. And then finally his speed comes in at exactly 100. You see a lot of characters coming in at that number, but that would work out at a D rating there. Now the tags, it's Hero, Global, Mutant, Blaster and X-Men. So the Mutant and X-Men one is one where there'll be a lot of synergies, and we'll actually look at them later on in the video. And then you've got that Blaster tag, so it's going to be getting easier to do that infamous Blaster challenge once people start unlocking Ultron and Cyclops and some of the other characters we've had as well, the likes of Killmonger. It's only getting easier with all these characters coming out. When it comes to the abilities, we'll start off with the basic. This is called Optic Blast. So at the moment in this one, you attack your primary target for 300% damage, and with his base damage that could really hurt. And then you apply Disrupted as well, so that's really quite strong to see a status effect such as Disrupted that can really mess up the enemy team being on a basic. And if we actually look just above that, on MSF.GG, it lets you know what happens when characters assist, because some characters when they assist can apply status effects, others actually won't. But with Cyclops at the moment, from what we can see, if you get an assist, and that could come via Storm, the way her kit's set up, then you would have a chance to apply Disrupted as well for 1 turn. So that could be really pretty nice, that. Now when it comes to the special, this one here is 5 turns to charge and comes fully charged. It's called To Me. I love the name of this one. So this one here, it's almost a bit like the War Machine skill, or the War Machine passive even, but it's got a bit of a slant on it that makes it hopefully a bit more reliable. So with this, you apply Taunt to the 2 most injured enemies, and you call 2 adjacent allies to attack the 2 most injured enemies. I like the fact that it's the most adjacent allies, so that way, depending on the positioning for Cyclops, you can choose who you want to be doing those additional attacks there, so that could bring in a fair bit of strategy involved. like War Machine, sometimes it can be a bit of a pain when you actually put the taunt on the wrong character. However, with this skill, you also then attack the primary target for 350% damage as well. So if you need to burn down the likes of Crossbones quickly, you should still be able to do that via the primary target attack, but you can hopefully take out some other targets that have got lower health as well. So I do like this, it looks interesting. It's one that I'll need to play around with when he's actually live to find out if it does actually work out in your favour most of the times. Now, when it comes to the ultimate, this is called Optic Devastation. Takes a whopping 8 turns to charge. It would be available in turn number 2. This one here, I imagine the animation is going to look awesome on it. I can't wait to see it. But with this, you attack all targets for 250% damage, apply slow to all the targets for 2 turns, and damage is increased by 25% per charged, and then you lose the charged. And like all the characters we've had so far, you can gain up to a maximum of 5 charges, meaning you would be able to do 375% damage with that high base damage on all characters, so that could absolutely shred. And in a moment when we talk about some of the synergies between Cyclops and Jean Grey, this could be really potent. This now, when it comes to the passive, this is called Team Synergy. With this you'll gain an additional 15% damage. I'm not sure the way MSF.gg calculates the damage stat, if that's already put into it. If it is, that's probably why he's got a high number. If it's not, his damage rating, his base damage rating, is going to be absolutely insane. It really is. Now, with this passive as well, on X-Men allies turn, you gain 1 charged up to a maximum of 5. So if you put him in a full team very quickly, you'll get all that additional bonus damage on the ultimate. And then here's the interesting part here. So on ally Phoenix death, you gain a fence up. Now, when Phoenix is actually defeated, or when Jean Grey is defeated and she respawns as Phoenix, what she does is she applies the fence down to all characters for 2 turns. Cyclops will then gain a fence up for 1 turn, and it could be round about this time his ultimate becomes available. So put all that together, and that could really be pretty amazing. So that's something I can't wait to actually test out once we do get the chance. But that's the kit for Cyclops. Once again, I'm just going to stress the fact that I have been told that we can't take any of this, that it's going to be going live in game exactly like this, so there very much could be changes to it, so just do bear that in mind. But with that all covered, let's go in now and have a look and see how all the X-Men and mutant synergies actually line up. So as you can see here, it looks like there will be a ton of synergy between the X-Men, X-Force and Mutant characters. Now, starting off with Cyclops anyway, he'll gain a fence up when Jean Grey is defeated, we've already discussed that, and he'll also gain charged on X-Men allies turn, and the charged gives them the additional damage on his ultimate. For Jean Grey, when she's in the team, X-Men allies gain an additional 30% max health and also 30% damage, so imagine that on Cyclops, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, also when she's in our Phoenix form, you apply 2 regen to all X-Men allies when you cast her special. Moving on to Wolverine next. This isn't in game or on MSF.gg at the moment, but the community manager has confirmed this too. So with Wolverine, when Colossus is an ally, you do an additional 100% damage on the ultimate via the fastball special animation, which is great. Now for Psylocke, she will apply evading counter to an X-Men ally when they drop below 50% max health, and that could be really useful there. And also she will transfer all negative effects from X-Men allies to a primary target when she casts her ultimate. I've used that a little bit in some tier 8 blitz I've been running, and it's incredible fun doing that. Now, the next character we have, there's not a great deal going on here, but there are some synergies, so I did include them. It's Cable. Now, with Cable, he has a 30% chance, this comes through his passive, on turn to apply counter to a random mutant ally. When it comes to Storm, she could really be pretty useful here. So on turn, she would have a 50% chance to apply speed up to X-Men and X-Force allies. That could be exceptionally strong, but it is a flip of a coin really to get it. Also with Storm, you have a 40% chance to apply assist now to X-Men or X-Force allies on their turn. And thinking back to Cyclops basic, where even on assist he can still get the disrupted, that could be really strong there. And then the final character we look at here is Colossus, and he offers a ton in regards to synergies. Now with Colossus you apply 2 deflect to self and X-Men allies on his special, so he'll taunt up when he does that, and if Phoenix is an ally then you apply taunt for 2 turns, and 2 turn taunts, if you think of the likes of Thanos and actually Juggernaut, can be a complete pain in the ass. It can just really shut you down and make it so you're stuck focusing on a character. Now also with Colossus, on spawn if Phoenix is an ally you gain defense up for 2 turns and you apply defense up to all X-Men allies, so that's really nice, defense up at the start of the match. You also gain 1 charge when a negative effect is applied to an X-Men ally, so it will be very quick that you're able to build up his 5 charges, and that allows him to do an additional attack when he's attacked himself. We then have the fact that when an X-Men ally drops below 50% health, he'll gain 1 taunt. Now if he's already taunting, it will add an additional taunt onto it, but if he's at a point where he's already got 2 turns of taunt, it won't put it up to 3. You can see that 2 is the maximum here, so it's a bit like shield security. Really strong that he's got his traditional potentially 2 turn taunt, and then he's got that taunt as well, and then you pair that up with Psylocke. When a character's dropping below the 50%, Colossus is taunting up and Psylocke is applying the evade and counter to them, so they're going to be really tricky to take down. Now finishing up here, you pair Colossus up with X-Men characters and they'll gain an additional 15% max health. So they look like they're going to be absolutely insane, to be honest. Now it's always fun when we get really strong characters in the game, but as time goes on, sometimes if a team's too overtuned, then we have to spend a lot of time actually bringing out characters to then counter that specific team. We know that specifically happened with the Shield team, so I'm excited to see how strong they are. I'm a little bit worried as well with how strong they actually are, because I don't want them to dominate everything. Yes, they're the X-Men, they should be awesome, but they're looking unbelievably strong at the moment. Time will tell really, because once players get their hands on them they can do some theory crafting, there's always little chinks in armour that you're able to figure out to take teams down, and it's going to be fun trying to actually do that. But let me know in the comments below what you think of Cyclops kit, which again could be subject to change. Let me know what you think of all the synergies we have between the X-Men characters, and thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.